Righto, year 12, here we go. Measures of location here. More revision, really, on our data and stats. So these three things you should be reasonably familiar with. Mean, median, and mode. Okay? Mean is the sum of the scores divided by the number of scores, right? What we often call the average. Best off using stat mode on your calculator when you got a decent sized data set there. The median is the middle score. Median, like the median strip or a medial ligament in your knee, is in the middle. Right? If you need to have all of the scores in order to find that. Right? Put all the scores in order, find the middle one. Okay, that's the median. Should there happen to be an even number of scores, it's the average of the two closest to the middle. And finally, the mode is the most frequent score. The score with the highest frequency, the most common score. Sometimes more than one mode, sometimes no mode. Right, but it's always got a mean and it's always got a median. So, we have two different data sets here. First of all, I have what we might call a frequency distribution table. I've got scores and frequencies. Right, this tells me, for example, there are 2 2s and 4 3s and so on. If I add this column here up, I end up with 15. That tells me there are 15 scores there. Some of them have been repeated, like 5 has been repeated 3 times. Okay, frequency distribution table. This one over here, stem and leaf plot. There's a bit of a clue there in those titles. Yeah, stem and leaf plot. Now, this first figure here in the stem usually indicates the first digit in the number, and so this is 0, 3. So this is 3, and then 5, and 12, and 16, and so on. That should be revision well enough. Now, for each of these two data sets, I want to find the mean to one decimal place, the median, and the mode. So let's have a look. Best thing to do here, stat mode on your calculator. Depending on your calculator, depends how you do that. Check the manual, look it up if you need to, or come to class and I will talk you through that. If there's that much demand, I might make a little video for a couple of different calculators to show you how to do it. But stat mode, right? Put it in stat mode, punch those numbers in, right? Scores and frequencies, and we should find then that the mean, right? Because I did this a moment ago, the mean is 4.3 recurring. Now the symbol for mean is this X with a bar over the top, equals 4.3. Now it says to one decimal place, so we'll say 4.3 because that's one decimal place. Even though we could say 4.3 recurring. That's the first one. The median. Right, there are 15 scores. Now, if they were in order, if I took the 8th highest score, would also be the 8th smallest score, there would be 7 higher, 7 below. The 8th score, when they're in order, is the median, right? Now, that's going to be one of these 5s. If we sort of think of the first of the 5s, there'd be 7 numbers, 7 scores that are 5 or above, and there would be here 7 scores below. So the median there is 5. It's where that occurs, and that's at a 5. And finally, the mode, most frequent score. It's easy to work out. You certainly don't need a calculator to do the mode. I look down through this frequency column and go, oh, there's the biggest number. Right, be careful, it's not 5. 6. There are more 6s than any other score. So in this case, the mode is equal to 6. Now, over here, my stem and leaf plot. This time you'll see that there are 12 different scores there. Perhaps you want to add them up individually. Right, you might not need to use stat mode there, although if you get in the habit, it's not necessarily a poor idea. So, when we add all of those 12 scores together, remember the smallest one is 3 and the greatest is 43. When I add them together and divide them by 12, I get 22.83 recurring. Now it says one decimal place, so we'll just say 22.8. And we'll indicate there's one decimal place. That's the mean. Whoops, I should have put that little thing there. The mean is 22.8. Seems about right too. Okay, so some of my scores are 3s and 5s. Some are 40 in the 40s, and the 20 seems alright. The median for this data set, well, I've got 12 scores, so there are 6 low ones, 6 high ones. Halfway in between the bottom 6 and the top 6 is going to be halfway between 20 and 23. Halfway between 20 and 23 is 21.5. The mode here, well, it's not much of a mode, but there are a pair of 23s. Nothing else has a frequency greater than 1. So 23 is my mode. Righto. That's our measures of location. Check it out. I hope it makes sense. See you in class.